The reality is that Twitter at this point, has a very far left bias, and I would classify myself as a moderate, and neither Republican nor Democrat. And in fact, I have voted overwhelmingly for Democrats historically, overwhelmingly. Like I'm not sure. I might never have voted for a Republican, just to be clear.
Right.
Now this election, I would.
Wow. David, you okay? David's not. Keep going. He's fine. We're going to resuscitate him. We're going to resuscitate David Sachs. I mean, let me ask you a personal
question. The point I'm trying to make is that this is not some sort of attempt to, it's not some right-wing takeover, as say people on the left may fear, but rather a moderate-wing takeover, and an attempt to ensure that people of all political beliefs feel welcome on a digital town square, and they can express their beliefs without fear of being banned or shadow banned. And that we obviously need to get rid of the bots and scams and trolls and people that are operating huge bot armies in an attempt to unduly influence the public opinion.
International Museum Day. Teachers, are you ready for a 4-day work week? And Elon Musk, is he voting Republican now? And brace yourselves for a summer from hell. It is Wednesday, 7:03 a.m. This is Good Morning Brownsville, and my name is Frankie Olivo. And of course, the reason why y'all are here today is for the weather. Besides the eclipse, we haven't gotten any good action, so to speak, for the week. It's gonna be hot as of right now. Since 5 a.m. Brownsville is at a 76 degrees. The high for today is 91, and at night it will be at a cool 75 degrees. Throughout the week, again, we should be expecting some rain, possibly Sunday, if not Monday. But other than that, it's gonna be a hot May. So if you can, make sure you go out and enjoy the island, get some sun rays. It's always needed and encouraged, especially during this time of year. And now for local news. Today is International Museum Day, and the importance of attending museums is to be able to understand one's culture, to learn from the history, and to be able to appreciate of what we have. Here in the city of Brownsville, we are fortunate to have many resources in our backyard. Of course, we have Gladys Porter Zoo. We have museums. We have 2 beaches, SpaceX now, a Port of Brownsville. Well, today is International Museums Day, and the Brownsville Historical Association will be having a free admissions event today from 10 to 4. And again, it is important for us to understand our history, our heritage, and culture. And many times this gets overlooked. But museums are able to transform the world around us. And we may not see it because it is not big or as it is not attended as highly as other big cities such as New York or Boston. But Brownsville is very rich in history. I was at UTB yesterday, walking, doing some cardio. And I was on the grounds of a battlefield at one point between the Mexican and American armies, the Battle of Palo Alto. Brownsville is we're sitting on a gold mine, it seems, and we do not appreciate it, in my opinion. So today is International Museum Day. The Brownsville Historical Association is inviting the community from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. free admission to the Heritage Museum, the Stillman House, and the Historical Brownsville Museum, which is located right next to the PD. But again, the importance of museums is to bring awareness. And even though, the city of Brownsville has had an instance earlier about The Rock, me being a history buff, I want my history to be preserved. There have been states throughout the Southeast United States that have taken down statues of Confederate leaders, those individuals that that hurt other people through slavery. Now, while we are not in support of slavery, I think it is important for one to learn from our past. So even though the Stillman House, being a slave owner, that is still among us, we should appreciate and teach our youth of the importance of learning from our mistakes as a society. So today is International Museum Day. The Brownsville Historical Association is inviting the community from 10 to 4 to attend these sites free of charge. And again, the importance of awareness, the importance of bringing attention to an issue. Again, as a society, we continue to grow and learn. It seems as if nowadays, our society is quote unquote woke. Now, we want to be equal. We want to be able to live a life without being judged, again, based on our sex, preference, and skin color. And we learn throughout the years, maybe, with a lot of hate crime going on nowadays, one can argue that, we are still in step one. But visiting museums is important for our culture. And we should promote the city of Brownsville and museums that we have in our city as much as possible to be able to learn from it and teach our youth about our culture moving forward. Now, teachers, who's ready for a 4-day work week? Now, this is something that has been entertained for quite some time now. We are starting to see how the economic effects of COVID and just the consequences of COVID has had effects on teachers. We have been very vocal about having our teachers being adequately compensated for what they do. And many have argued and said, "Hey, well, they already know what they're going into. Why would they want more?" Well, again, they go through a lot. They've been through a lot. And just this past few years with COVID, we stretched our teachers far and beyond the normal means. We, expected them to do instructional learning, instructional education through Zoom, through the web, and sometimes even in the classroom, face to face. Now, while the BISD Independent School Board, they have awarded our teachers compensation, while we do not feel it is enough, but we always applaud and thank our board members for it. But we have seen school districts throughout Texas and throughout the United States try and do other ways to try and captivate and attract teachers. Again, nowadays, the pay throughout the districts is not as competitive as it once was. Before, teachers, I remember back in 2012 when I graduated, the thing was, move up to Dallas, move up to Houston, move to San Antonio, because you're guaranteed a $45,000, $47,000 starting pay, which I think now at this day and age, that is a starting rate. But school districts are trying ways to combat enrollment, to combat teacher morale, because at the end of the day, we all know teachers aren't satisfied with the services and representation that we've had here in the city of Brownsville. What gives? What can we do? Thinking outside the box. What can we do to make our teachers happy? Well, we see how school districts are starting to take notice. Here locally, Santa Rosa within Cameron County is considering going to a 4-day school week. And there have been parents that have been on the fence about this, because at the end of the day, many parents don't have the means or don't have somebody at home to watch them an extra day or homeschool them. And what happens? They go to school, and that's how we were brought up. But the issue arises: what's going to happen on a Friday? Again, there will be some modifications to the hours. Instead of being 8 hours, they're considering going 8.5, 9, possibly 9.5 or 10 hours, because they do need to meet the TEA guidelines regarding instructional learning. But could this be a possibility? Is this the new wave? Now, before you stop me and say, "Hey, Frankie, that's not a good thing." Well, we have to change it. We have to. Something is wrong. Again, enrollment. The school district at one time had an enrollment of 40,000 plus students. Now we are on the border of 30,000 students. And each year it seems that charter schools have been picking away at our enrollment here in BISD. Now, again, we have to think outside the box. We have to let our teachers know, hey, we are trying to figure out ways to alleviate your workload. If we can't do it monetarily, and we always encourage, money makes everybody happy. Money makes us happy, makes us crazy, makes us happy crazy. But if I can help you monetarily, maybe I can help you in another way. And again, maybe BISD should really consider this. Again, there are some issues that arise, such as, well, who's going to take care of the student on Friday? And the idea right now at Santa Rosa is to work 4 days, and the fifth day being Friday, to leave it like a half a day, or to leave it if students would want to come in to do extra work, or maybe even like a babysitting type of thing where they can just focus on PE, on extracurricular activities such as choir, or things of that nature. But we applaud school districts throughout the United States and in the Rio Grande Valley who are thinking outside the box, taking it upon themselves to do something different. South Texas in the Hidalgo County area will also begin for a 4-day week. Again, is this the trend? I've always been a big proponent. And again, I'm going against the grain, I know. But I think that in the next 30, 40, 50 years, we will stop going into the brick and mortars. We will stop sending our students, our loved ones, to the brick and mortars, because what COVID taught us was that we can do instructional work online. And again, I understand, I am a hands-on learner, and many of our students are as well. And many of our parents said, you know what, this is not for my child. Now, while we understand that, but we have to get on this digital wave that is coming. And the next wave is technology. We need to be very fluent in technology. Many employers, my employer, I have the luxury of working from home, and there are some perks of working from home, but at the end of the day, it is a job, and they expect numbers. They don't care what Frankie is doing. At the end of the day, Frankie has to get his job done. And many employers realized throughout the pandemic that, hey, my employees don't need to come in to the office. They can perform their duties outside at the comfort of their homes. Now, again, I understand, I myself am a hands-on learner with instruction. But if the employment is one day shifting, and don't get me wrong, there are jobs that, require hands-on, doctors, dentists, in the medical field. There's a lot of professions that do, but there are a lot more professions that you don't need to be in there. So are we beginning to see a change where schools work will be going to a 4-day week? Could we alleviate our teachers with this by saying, hey, we're going to give you a day off. We're going to try and work something out where we might not be helping you financially, but the most important thing is we're giving you peace of mind. We're giving you a day to relax, spend time with your loved ones. I encourage BISD to look into this. This could be something that could be beneficial. Again, I know there are going to be many parents who are opposed to this, but at the end of the day, we have to figure out a way to help our teachers out. This would be an immense relief for them moving forward. Again, there will be some modifications from the Monday to Thursday. They will increase the instructional hours from 8 to 9, possibly 10 hours. But again, we have to find a way. We have to think outside the box. This normal 8 to 5 is something that that's something that could work. But again, there have to be some tweaks, of course. There have to be some instructions to this. But the interesting thing is that Santa Rosa is considering this, and the board will be taking a vote. Right now, they are in the process of doing this. The board members are allowing the parents to complete surveys. They are having workshops that allows them to be vocal and to express, how they feel about having 4-day weeks for their loved ones. Could BISDUs benefit from this? Possibly. Again, there are some guidelines and things that they do have to tweak in order to make this possible. But again, we have to figure out ways to try and alleviate this for our teachers. And I'm sure that our teachers, they might be willing to work an hour a day just to be able to have that one extra day off. But again, think outside the box. To our board members, I know you're listening. Think outside the box, and let's help our teachers as much as possible. Currently, we are in the midterm elections. We are in early voting right now. And if you haven't voted, you have until Tuesday. Make sure you can vote any poll here in Cameron County on election day on Tuesday. You have to go to your precinct. But we are in the middle of elections. We have slowly starting to see the change in tide throughout the United States. Regions that were once blue are slowly turning red. Here locally in the city of McAllen, it is the first time that a Republican mayor has been elected. And we have seen how Governor Abbott has made McAllen a frequent stop. Just this year, he has made several stops. And just how individuals have been swaying from blue to red, voters have done the exact same thing. Here in our backyard, Papi Musk has been very vocal against the Biden administration. And we are starting to see the change of ideology amongst these individuals. Now, again, you can argue and say, hey, Frankie, well, wouldn't you be ticked off if somebody was trying to tax you? Wouldn't you be ticked off if somebody just, bombarding you and say, no, you don't pay enough taxes? You need to pay your fair share. Wouldn't you be ticked off about that? Wouldn't you say, oh, well, yeah, of course I'm going to vote for their opponent? Oh, well, you could make that argument. But it is impressive to see the world's richest man, go on a forum yesterday. And that was the video that was played at the beginning of the show, where he openly states that, hey, the Biden administration, they don't know what they're doing. He has blasted Biden throughout the campaign. And he even said that, Biden is just a teleprompter president, that he just says what they tell him to say. Now, I'm not here to bash on President Biden, but what I do want to stress is how it seems as if we have gone from bad, what people considered during the previous administration, from bad to this current administration, which is worse. Just recently, the federal government, they did raise the interest rate by 0.5%, which doubled the size of usual rate hikes. Now, while 0.5 may not be a big difference, so to speak, what it does affect, ladies and gentlemen, is the mortgages, the car loans, credit cards. This hike in 0.5% of a point will drive up the borrowing cost for people trying to buy a house, for people having credit cards, for people trying to buy used cars. And are we starting to see, again, people who have been dissatisfied with this current administration? Elon Musk even dare say that at the rate that we're going right now with inflation, that he could possibly see the United States being the next Venezuela. And who could forget Venezuela in recent times? A country that has been plagued by economic hardships, It seems as if, well, there's a lot of corruption, of course, a lot of drug cartel influence in those types of countries. But Elon Musk, yesterday on this forum, he stated the United States, if they do not change the path in which they are in, they will slowly turn into Venezuela. And as we all know, Venezuela right now, they ration food. It is hard for one to make ends meet. Now, while we don't feel as if that is something that's going to happen from one day to the next, what has been impressive is we have seen how billionaires are starting to question this administration and their role within society. Just a few days ago, and again, I understand, these world's richest men, they are being bashed by the president. I understand that. But look, it is impressive to see what Jeff Bezos just stated. Look, there's a squirrel. This is the White House statement about my recent tweets. They understandably want to muddy the topic. They know inflation hurts the needle the most, but he's talking about unions. But unions aren't causing inflation, and neither are wealthy people. Remember, the administration tried. So here we have Jeff Bezos saying, hey, it's not my fault for me being wealthy that I'm causing inflation. And one might argue, well, whenever you don't pay your fair share of taxes, that puts the burden on us poor common folks. And we don't have enough to pay. One can make that argument. So here we have Jeff Bezos, one of the world's richest men, stating, hey, I'm not the reason. I'm not the cause of your inflation, Biden administration. And now we have Elon Musk publicly take a jab and state, hey, even though I have predominantly voted Democrat, it's not going to be like that no more. I'm going to be voting Republican this election. And again, the red wave, it seems as if Democrats have been eyeing key states and have seen in this midterm elections, have seen how the Republicans have been able to win states that were previously known as being blue. Now, will we be seeing this in Cameron County? Have our local voters been disenfranchised, have been dissatisfied with the services of our Democratic Party? Have our Democrats brought in jobs? Have they provided a better quality of life for you and I? Is Brownsville, Texas, is South Texas, is the Rio Grande Valley an area where our children's children are going to want to stay and live? As we all know, we suffer from the effects of seeing our loved ones leave for college and then they never come back because there is no opportunity. They go to the land of opportunity, such as Houston and San Antonio and Austin and Dallas and bigger cities. Why? Because that's where the money's at. Elon Musk has stated that he will vote Republican in this election. He has been dissatisfied. He has not been satisfied with the current Biden administration and their policies. We have seen how they have not been able to tackle any issues, whether it's immigration, inflation, the war in Afghanistan that they abruptly left. Now, there are many issues going on around the world. I understand that. But will you be saying how Elon Musk said, enough is enough? I will be voting Republican. Why? Because the Democrats, they don't have an answer. They don't have no solution. And how Elon Musk said is, Biden, is he just a puppet? Is he just an anchorman who reads a teleprompter and does what he said? Are the Cameron County elected officials, are they just puppets? Are they just told what to read, what to say, what to move? Elon Musk will be voting Republican in this coming election. Will you be voting the same? Will you be saying, I've had enough with this administration? This is what I say. Washington is Washington. I'm more worried about the Rio Grande Valley. I'm more worried about Brownsville. What has our Democrats done for our area? We are still considered one of the poorest areas in the nation, unfortunately. Elon Musk will be voting Republican. How will you be voting in this coming election? And now for our feature story. Brace yourselves for the summer from hell. Uh, a lot has been going on within our world. We previously talked about inflation. We talked about how in China, they had to close key cities because of COVID, which has interrupted the production of consumer goods. As we all know, I would say 60% of the goods, 70% of the goods come from China. And key cities in China have closed because of COVID, which has caused production to slow down. The war in Ukraine has caused the United States to pump money to prevent the spread of communism, to prevent the spread of, and to make sure that democracy remains in that region. But are you ready? Are you ready for a summer from hell? Well, that is what we are headed to because of the stock market. The technology has been tanking. The federal government has raised interest, and as we talked about last week, crypto is crashing, and this makes a lot of Wall Street economists worried. Now, why would they be worried? Well, the interesting thing is how we have slowly seen it affect our pockets. Now, we have been alarmed to see how gasoline prices has been rising. The cheapest I found was $4.09, if I'm not mistaken, down on next to Owens Street on Boca Chica and Owens on that Valero. Here we have an Exxon on International. Now, I understand closer to the border, we are going to have higher prices. But you and I can agree that times are different. Back in the day, I remember when it was 99 cents and I was like, wow, this is beautiful. My Porsche, I used to fill it up with $20. Now I'm lucky if I'm able to get, if I'm able to pump 40, 50, 60 bucks. We have all felt the pinch in our pocketbooks. And that is what has been affecting us. And during the summer, as we all know, the summer is a time for us to travel. It is a time for us to meet our loved ones, to get away, recharge the batteries for a bit. And every summer, we have stories. Oh, this summer I went here. This summer I went here. This summer is going to be different. The pumps are a lot more expensive. We do not have the luxury anymore of traveling with affordable gas. There are individuals that will be traveling, but at the same time, there will be individuals who can't afford plane trips, who can't afford $400 or $500 of gas to get from here to their loved one's house. And a lot of things have affected this. But who benefits from this? Who benefits from the markets crashing? Who benefits from higher prices of consumer goods? It's the sharks. It's the powerful people. What they do is they purposely let the market fall. Why? Because us little folks, us common folks, we panic. Whenever we see the stock market crash, what do we want to do? We want to sell. Why? Because we start seeing the red. Uh-oh, I'm losing money. And what happens when we lose money? We panic and we freak out. And what do? Sell, 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 sell. Get rid of it. I want to cut my losses as much as possible, and I'll go home. But what happens? What happens whenever we do? The rich and powerful, they let the market fall. They watch you crumble and cry and say, you know what? I'm going to sell. They sell your loss. And what do? Those billionaires, they pick up a ton of stock at a cheap price. And then what happens? The stock goes up. What do? They want a lot of money. The summer from hell, ladies and gentlemen, is upon us. Times are different. Now we don't have the luxury of going to the movies. Now we have families that, we live paycheck to paycheck. And if we're barely making it, imagine those less fortunate. Again, a summer from hell is upon us. Will you be traveling to go see your loved ones? And again, this was a common occurrence. We'd always look forward to the summer. Why? Because we had the almighty dollar. There was money. Times were good. Hey, baby, let's spend money. Let's go to the island. Let's go to San Antonio. Let's go to Houston. A summer from hell is upon us. The stock market has crashed. Cryptocurrency, which many people thought of as being the new wave or the quickest way to get rich, is crashing. Gas prices are through the roof. This war with Ukraine is not going to stop anytime soon. China is barely alleviating their COVID restrictions. But again, China does that on purpose. Why? Because they want to disrupt the market. They want to disrupt the world because they know that they are the ones that got it. And when you got it, you got it. The summer from hell is upon us. The stock market has crashed. Gas prices are through the roof. Inflation does not seem to be changing anytime soon. We had Elon Musk openly state that at the trajectory that the United States is on right now, that we will be the next Venezuela. Now, while I don't think that will happen from one day to the next, it is impressive to see how many individuals are starting to see the federal government and saying, hey, Democrats in power, what are you doing? What are you going to do to help the common folk? Will you be voting Democrat or will you be Elon Musk and voting Republican in this midterm election? It is Wednesday, 7:33 a.m., May 18th. Teachers, are you ready for a 4-day work week? Santa Rosa is in the process of taking preliminary discussions to hear from the parents, and ultimately the school board is going to decide at the end of this month. I encourage BISD to do the same. International Museum Day for today from 10 to 4. The Brownsville Historical Association does invite our community to attend this free event. It is important for our children and us as a society to learn and appreciate culture, learn from our history, that we won't be able to make the same mistakes moving forward. Elon Musk has announced that he will be voting Republican in this coming election, a presidential election. How will you vote? And a summer from hell. Inflation is through the roof. Gas prices is very, very expensive. Families will not be able to travel and see their loved ones. Families will not be able to do much, but hopefully work. How will that affect your pocketbooks? Has it affected your pocketbooks? You best believe it. Thank you so much for your time and your attention. Once again, it is Wednesday, May 18th, 7:34 a.m. My name is Frankie Olivo. Hope you all have a great hump day. Hope to see y'all here on Friday. God bless.